In this video, I'm going to show you what it takes to become a captain and get your Merchant Mariner credential. And as you can see, I am now a captain. I will tell you why I did this at the end of the video, but first I'm going to tell you how to acquire this. The first thing you need to do, you need time on the water. Before you can even think about applying for a captain's license, you have to have at minimum 360 days on the water in your entire life. 90 of those days have to be in the last 3 years. And this is for an inland license. If you want Great Lakes or ocean, there's different requirements there. Now, when I'm talking about days on the water, that is 4 hours in motion counts as one full day. And it's not an average. If you're out for 3 hours in motion, that doesn't count at all. It has to be 4 hours or greater. Now, I know there's a space on the form that says average time on the water. You can't count the 3 hour days. They have to be 4 hours or greater. At least that's what my instructor told me. And so did the Coast Guard when I called them. I actually had to eliminate some days myself because I recorded 3 hour days thinking I could count them. Now, when I say in motion, that means you cannot be anchored or tethered to anything. You can't launch at a boat ramp, drive 5 minutes to a dam, tether to the dam for 4 hours, and then untether and drive back to the ramp 5 more minutes. That would be considered a 10-minute day and wouldn't count. Now, I've had boats my entire life. My first boat I got was a fiberglass boat that I rebuilt when I was about 16 years old. I didn't start recording my own time till maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I've actually wished I had recorded it my entire life. That's a lot of sea time. But that is obviously the major component of getting a captain's license, is being out on the water. Now, the next thing you need to do, you will need to take a class. Now, I don't know if there's any other schools that have captain's classes. I chose True Course. True Course has a classroom setting class, and they have an online course. From what I'm told, the online course is difficult, while the class is a little bit easier. Now, Joe with Chat Cats Fishing did the True Course online course, and he was able to pass it. The online course definitely gives you more time to study. I took the classroom setting class, and I felt like it was a little bit on the rushed side. There was a lot of information we had to learn in a short amount of time. If anything, I got this really cool notebook thing. Backpack, knapsack, whatever you want to call it. They give you like calculator and other stuff you need to take the course, and they loan the sextant and other stuff you need for plotting. Now, the reason you're taking a course is you have to pass 4 different tests. Now, this is the student manual. It teaches you what you need to get the captain's license. And then it's 4 modules for the 4 different tests you have to pass in order to get the captain's license. Module 1 is navigation. Module 2 is rules of the road. Module 3 is navigation general. And module 4 is deck and safety. I've got pre-tests here. Now, this test is the navigation one. And it's basically you have a map and you have to pinpoint or triangulate different spots, or answer questions like what color is the light when you're facing from one certain degree. The True Course teacher actually teaches you how to take the test too, because they throw trick questions in and they throw extra information in there that you don't need, which can easily throw you off and make you fail the test. And for navigation, you need to make a 90% minimum score out of 10 questions, so you can only miss 1 question on this test. The next test is rules of the road. This is basically how many times you honk your horn to go around one way or another on a vessel, especially if you're in a narrow channel. It also asks you what type of lights you see on a vessel. Like these lights. If you see these lights ever, you're probably going to be dead soon, because this is an active minesweeper looking for mines in the water. Now, the rules of the road test has 50 questions, and you have to get a 90% on this test, which means you can only miss 5 questions on rules of the road. The next test is the navigation general, and that is 20 questions. You can make a 70% on the test and pass. So it's a little bit more lenient than the other tests. And this is just, navigation general. I mean, it's as general as you can get, like buoys, which mark dredging areas, are painted yellow. And the last test is deck and safety, and that's a 50-question test that you have to make a 70% on in order to pass. It talks about like fire extinguishers, it talks about different knots you can do, stuff like that, just being safe on the deck of your boat and being able to tie your boat to a dock. And that is the 4 tests you have to pass after taking a week-long in-class course or several months of study time on the online course. Now, once you pass the class, there are a few more things you need to do before you can get your captain's license. And I have a cheat sheet for that. This is everything needed for the captain's license. So you have to have your application. It's just a few pages you have to fill out with your personal information. You have to get your Transportation Workers Identification Card, the TWIC card. The Department of Homeland Security is the ones who issue that card. When you apply for it, they do a background check and then they send you the card. It's kind of separate from the Coast Guard, but the Coast Guard can go back and reference that, and that's why they want you to have one. You have to have a physical done, and it's like a DOT physical. They do check your eyes, your hearing, and ask a bunch of medical questions. You have to have the Adult First Aid and CPR AED class. I took mine with the Red Cross. You can also go to the American Heart Association to get the certificate. You have to take a drug test within 6 months of taking the class. You have to fill out the sea service forms, which I talked about earlier. That's where you put in how many days on the water you've been out. You have to have your oath done. The oath is actually on the application, so whoever does your oath has to sign the application and a separate oath form. We actually didn't do that, and we had to get the guy to come back the next weekend to sign all of our forms. You have to give fees, which I'm going to tell you all the fees here in a moment. This was not cheap. And the fees that this is talking about on this form, you have to pay to pay.gov. You're paying Uncle Sam some fees. And then your diploma, when you graduate this class, you have to have a copy of that in the application, along with a copy of everything else. It's a good idea to make multiple copies of each of these and keep multiple copies while sending one copy off. That way, if the Coast Guard needs something, you can just send it to them. So for the pricing, I'm going to just say this off the top of my head. You guys can add it up if you want to and leave a comment below. If you know anywhere that's actually cheaper than what I paid, leave a comment below too. So for the TWIC card through Homeland Security, I think was about $140, and it took about 2 to 3 weeks to get to me. The physical I did was through TrueCourse, so it was $95. The Adult First Aid and CPR AED class at Red Cross was $95. The drug test was $95. You'll see $95 is a repeating thing on this. They want to nickel and dime you to death. The test fee to take the test was $95. The class itself was about $800 total. I had to pay $200 to secure a seat and then $500 when the actual class happened. And some change. I mean, it might have been $595 or something like that. Most likely it was $595 because they like that 95 number for some reason. Now the fees, you're paying Uncle Sam here is a $100 evaluation and processing fee and a $45 insurance fee. And you have to print that receipt out and put it in the packet to send away to the Coast Guard. And that's all the fees I can think of. I might have missed something. If you know that I've missed something, leave a comment below. Now, why did I do this? Well, I have some silly reasons why I did this, and I have some more serious reasons why I did this. Let's start out with the silly reasons. I really like to have titles. I have the title Master Angler with the Tennessee Angler Recognition Program. I'm trying to get the title of YouTuber. Hopefully I'll make it there someday. And now I have the title of Captain. I'm also considering changing the name of my channel. I get it every now and then where people say that going after trophy fish is not panfish. They want me to catch panfish. They want me to do catch and cooks. And I really don't do catch and cooks, and I do catch panfish whenever they bite, but that's not the only thing I do on my channel. So having a name change based on getting the captain's license may happen. And while I know Captain Panfish sounds like an awesome superhero name, that's not what I'm going to change the channel name to. And it's not going to be anytime soon. I'm still thinking on it of exactly what I'm wanting to do. Now on the serious side, I did this so I could learn more about boating, so I can be safer on the water. One of the things I've learned is that almost nobody follows the rules of the road. Not even the barge operators do around here, it seems. They don't like using their radios, they don't like using their horns. Maybe that will change over this summer because from what I've heard, the Coast Guard is bringing a warship to East Tennessee, to Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, and all the lakes around here. They're going to be making sure everybody's boats are up to spec and that everybody's following the rules. Making sure guides have captain's licenses. And speaking of guides, this might make some of you actually chuckle, but another reason that I want to do this is to do a little bit of guiding. Now I want to say straight up that I want to focus on YouTube. I want to make you guys free content that you can watch. Free fishing content. Now I do have the boat, I have the equipment, I've got the bait when I can catch it, and I've got some good spots that I could take people fishing at. So I'm definitely not opposed with doing some guiding. Okay, I'm interrupting the video to say this. I'm going to do a live stream about my guide service so I can get some feedback from you. So be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when a live stream happens. Now if you want to talk to me before the live stream, or if you think you've missed the live stream, just send me a private message on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter. Now we're back to the rest of the video. Guiding is definitely one of many things I can do with a captain's license. I could get a tow endorsement and work for Towboat US. I was actually told they need people working for them, so that might be an interesting side job for me to do, is going out and towing boats in that are broke down on the water. If you guys can think of any unique job that requires a captain's license, leave a comment below. I'd like to know what else I can do with my captain's license. Now, another reason why I got the captain's license is a possible gray area with the Coast Guard. As you guys know, I have ads on my YouTube videos. I do make a little bit of money off of YouTube. And when I'm on the water like this, I'm making money off the water. And if you make money on the water, you're required to have a captain's license. Now, like I said, it's a gray area. I don't know if the Coast Guard would even care that I'm videoing and making money on the water in my boat on YouTube. But it's better to be safe than sorry. And every now and then I do take other people with me out on the water to make money on YouTube. Like Clinton, who is definitely making my channel go viral. And someday I might trick Catfish Dave into getting on my boat and fishing in it. And there's a jet ski on the water. I think it's better safe than sorry to have the captain's license than to not have it. At least I get a cool title. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up. And thank you again for watching. Hopefully I'll be able to catch some big catfish soon.